1931.
The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life. Tell folks how you got introduced to Super Male, and then when Super Female came out, tell us what happened.
After I saw such a huge positive change in my husband, I had to try it for myself.
Talk about the effects.
I feel great when I wake up in the morning. I have drive to go to the gym. I feel like I look better. I feel better. I feel sexier. I love it.
Even if you don't believe in supplements, take the challenge. Get a bottle of Super Male, a bottle of Super Female. Check it out for yourself. Consult your physician. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. This is life-changing.
You've heard about the essential qualities of iodine when it comes to your well-being, and you've read the opinions of top experts regarding this good member of the halogen family. Still, reports indicate that iodine is absent in sufficient amounts from the daily lives of countless people worldwide. Now, our extra-strength new nascent iodine formula is here, Survival Shield X2, leading the way into the next generation of super high-quality nascent iodine. InfoWars Life Survival Shield X2 is derived from 200+ million-year-old salt solutions found more than 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface. The result is a unique nascent iodine that is both concentrated and free of unwanted additives, genetically modified ingredients, and completely vegan. We even pre-screen our Survival Shield X2 iodine for radiation. Pure, clean, and sourced from deep within the Earth, X2 nascent iodine is available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or call 1-888-253-3139.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
You let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
It's a popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones.
We're back live on the Alex Jones Show. I'm Paul Joseph Watson. Infowars.com for all the latest breaking news. We're talking to Robert David Steele, former CIA officer and author of the open source Everything Manifesto. Robert, we've got a long segment now, so feel free to elaborate, but we were just touching on it before the break. You had this landmark conference in 1992 where, despite opposition from the CIA, you got together all these intelligence professionals, basically 620 of them, and gave them this lecture on the open source manifesto. So let's try and break down what exactly the open source transformation represents and why it represents also such a threat to the establishment.
Well, I love the way you've done your homework, and I thank you for that. Let's start with the fact that CIA, when it first agreed to my conference, said that they would come only if it was secret and U.S. citizens only. And I had to go to Admiral Studeman, and Admiral Studeman, God bless him, supported me and informed CIA that they would attend. CIA calls me open source, S-O-R-E-S. They see open source as a major threat because a great deal of the mystique of CIA, which I love as an organization, I want to save it in many ways. It's an important place. But CIA is living a lie. apart from the atrocities that they're committing with drones and rendition and torture, which I have opposed from day one, they're not actually collecting secret intelligence. They're taking handouts from foreign liaison. They're doing legal traveler debriefings. They don't know anything. They have children being spoon-fed secrets that cover less than 3% of what we need to know. So essentially, Alvin Toffler called me the rival store when he wrote a chapter about the future of the spy in 1993. I'm still the rival store, but frankly, I'd like to come in and do a hostile takeover and get these people cleaned up. We need intelligence. Intelligence is decision support. I've written an article in Counterpunch called Intelligence for the President and Everyone Else. And let me stop there and throw it back to you. Bottom line is decision support is what would be saving us from Ebola. It would keep the Americans from invading the Middle East again. It would keep the government honest. We don't have intelligence because we don't have integrity.
And from what I've read in your book, I mean, it's this attitude of intelligence being an enclosed community and the CIA and other agencies placing so much credence in this secret intel that they then ignore the vast majority of open source intelligence, which in many cases is more accurate than that secret intel because that's an echo chamber. Is that correct?
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's really two parts. The first part is the intelligence community knows nothing. I am appalled as an intelligence professional, and from the 1990s, I was outlining precisely what needed to be done in order to make it a serious professional community, and I was ignored, in part because my ideas would have been grounds for tripling the amount of intelligence we could produce and cutting the budget in half. The intelligence community is a secret pork pie. That's all it is. It moves the money, as Bill Binney and others have said. And I really want to encourage everyone to look up Tom Engelbart's new article just out today called Failure is Success. Engelbart has rendered a huge national service in publishing that article, and I've written a very strong comment at the end of it. The other half of the problem, which Paul Pilar has addressed in his book, is that the White House does not make policy based on intelligence. It makes policy based on who has paid to be heard. So we have traitors running the U.S. government. We have financial traitors, ideological traitors, and religious traitors. And these people are not scrubbed out because the FBI has essentially been put in a straitjacket and is not allowed to do its job.
Let's take a quick call for Robert David Steele, Gennaro in Arizona. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Paul. Hi, Robert. First of all, I want to tell Paul thank you for your work. I really appreciate all the work that you do on InfoWars, as well as the entire team there. And Robert, thank you for your work over your entire career. You're a true hero in your activism for the American people. My question is for Robert. Yesterday, Paul, I had sent in an email bringing out the flagrant disregard of the Judge Jenkins, in how he handled going to the apartment with no protection whatsoever. But yet, he had everybody in the entire apartment quarantined, taking out their items, but he himself doesn't have to get quarantined. He himself does not have to wear any protection. So my question is, Robert, do you think that this is that false flag event that you mentioned, in that they would simulate an Ebola attack in which they use biochemical weapons that dissipate and pretend that it's Ebola? Because who in their right mind would walk into an apartment that has Ebola everywhere from the guy that was living in that apartment with vomit and diarrhea and blood everywhere and put his life at such risk and put everybody else that he comes in contact with at risk?
I think you've got a very good point. And in fact, I've outlined 4 distinct possibilities as we face this Ebola threat, and that blog is at Phi Beta Iota, and you can look it up as Robert Steele Ebola Today, Alex Jones Today. So I've outlined 4 specifics, and there's absolutely nothing to prevent a blending of these 4. Certainly, I expect people to do some false flag drills. Homeland Security is famous for wanting to take the headlines and be active and be seen as doing something. And I think you have identified something that's called an indicator. I don't think the judge is stupid. I think very talented people tend to become judges, and they tend to have a lot of influence, a lot of smarts. So the judge has basically shown us that he is so unconcerned about Ebola that it probably is not Ebola in this specific instance.
Okay, thanks for the call. Just want to switch to a different topic before we throw back to the callers, and that is an article that appeared on your website, David, labeling truth seekers as conspiracy theorists. And this was about the conspiracy theory term and how it's been weaponized as a tool, as a pejorative to demonize freedom of thought. Just get into that for a moment for us.
Well, I have to give credit to the CIA. I mean, there was a time when I was a covert operations specialist, and media influence operations were part of what I did, although I was focused mostly on international opinion and basically crafting the worldwide opinion on El Salvador. So CIA coined this conspiracy theorist term, and the whole idea is to marginalize people. Now, if your readers want, or if your viewers want to go to Phi Beta Iota and use the search box, they can enter the words conspiracy and sane, and they will immediately get to some wonderful headlines from many other people. I don't post a lot myself on the website. I curate about 80 others that post. The bottom line is there have been 33 conspiracy theories, so labeled, that have been proven true. And the research is now out showing that people who have been labeled conspiracy theorists are by and large not only more intelligent, but correct in relation to the facts.
And this was, of course, the foundation was a 1967 document, I believe, from the CIA, which utilized the conspiracy theory term to demonize any questioning of the Warren Commission narrative. So as far back as 67, they were set on using this term as a pejorative to silence any criticism of any official narrative, and of course in that case with the assassination of JFK. Let's go to another call for Robert David Steele. Mike in California, you're on the air, go ahead.
Yeah, two quick questions for the guest. One was, you mentioned about this judge's posturing for in Texas and possibly for elections or PR. Do you see the possibility of the midterm election basically a census used in the electronic voting for where they need to target false voting tally? That's the first question. The second one was, when you mentioned the new economy, do you see network marketing or more multi-level marketing as one of the avenues for the 5 billion poor to be able to make a living or even prosper? Appreciate the response.
I'm sorry, the call is so broken up, I cannot understand the question.
Robert, he was saying, do you see multi-level marketing as a tool which could be used by the 5 billion poor to empower themselves?
I'm not even sure what that means. What I see the 5 billion poor doing is dumping the entire Western capitalist system on its ass, because the 5 billion poor need $2 refrigerators you can bury in the ground. They don't need 0 degree refrigerators. In fact, they don't need anything that we've got to offer. They will create their own economy. The UN has just come out and said that the only sustainable agriculture is local organic agriculture. I believe in the Global Village construction set, in the use of open source design, open source engineering. I believe that the 5 billion poor are essentially going to create a new civilization that is much closer to that of the indigenous Native Americans than what we have now. And if I understood vaguely the other question about the election, I do believe that we will have a very corrupt election, and I do believe that the Republicans will dominate both the Diebold machines that are completely, totally corrupt, and I do believe that Obama is going to be put in the box for the rest of his administration.
Skits in Nebraska, you're on the air with Robert David Steele. Go ahead.
Thank you, kind sir, for taking my call. It's a good thing the guy on the other end of the telephone is as good looking as the one on this end. Robert, you come out with the best news that I have heard in the last 10 years. Now, can you